here and welcome to my craft room. We're going to use a paintbrush and some water and some Fabriano watercolor paper, and this is 50% cotton that I'm using, and I just put a sponge underneath it just to get a little bit more flexibility when I start to stamp. So this is a comparison with the crayons. I'm going to use the Lyra and the Stampin' Up! Watercolors that are no longer available, but a lot of people do have them. So I'm going to start out with the Aquacolour Lyra colors, and I chose to take some yellow, some copper, and some orange. And as you can see, it's a really nice paper, this Fabriano paper. And I'm just adding, and what I want to see here is the smoothness to the transition going from dark to light, but that you don't see any lines. Now here's the Stampin' Up! Wonder crayons right here, and I tried to choose the same color family as close as I could get. And when I add the water to the paper, we will see exactly how they show up one with the other. So I just putting a little bit of paper towel to my right side there, trying to get the camera in for you as close as I can. I want you to see the lines and how exact when you add water they both react. So I'm adding some water to the top here and going down from dark to light. I'm trying to get the same amount of water each time into the paintbrush for you. And I find that the Lyra colors are very creamy here. I'm just going to let you, plus the Fabriano paper with the 50% cotton is a nice watercolor paper to use. It doesn't have a huge amount of tooth in it, so you don't have all those bumps to deal with, yet it doesn't bleed through. It's just a beautiful, beautiful 50% cotton mixed in with it. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? And look at the way that orange is coming down. I'm starting to play with it now. I'm going, whoa, this is going to be nice because I'm going to use a die on that for one of my cards. And here we go with the Stampin' Up! And you can tell just by looking at the watercolors that there is more wax in the crayon. That's the difference. Where when you look at the Lyra crayons right there, it is more watercolor based, if that makes any sense at all. So I thought, okay, I'm going to see if I can get a little bit more darkness on the Stampin' Up! Sorry, it's gone blurry there. With the Stampin' Up! Crayon, and I couldn't get it out without pilling all of the paper up. You can see I have all of that paper, and yeah, so I'm adding a little bit more of the yellow, maybe to see if I can transition it up. And then I'm testing it out with my fingers to see if I feel wax or creamy when I'm writing it. Look at that, and it is creamier. The Lyra crayons have a creamy texture where the Stampin' Up! Watercolor is a little bit waxy. See how it pilled up there, and I couldn't get the lines out of there. So I thought, okay, I'm going to put the Stampin' Up! And I'm going to go to a different color. Sometimes colors make a difference. And here's the Stampin' Up! Blue transitions dark to light. And you can still see the crayon, the wax that shows the lines there. So right here I decided to turn the paper over and do the watercolor, or do the crayons here. So this one that I am doing is the Stampin' Up! Watercolors, and this one is the Lyra to the left, right there. And then I am going to grab some water and see if it makes a difference with a different color. Sometimes it does with different mediums. You know, one color will look different. So this is the Stampin' Up! And it doesn't look bad. But I think you can agree with me that you do see a little bit of the wax, and if you add too much water to get it out, this paper pills, and I don't like that. And this is good Fabriano paper, so there you have the Lyra, and I think it just shows the creaminess of the Lyra. So I would use both. I am going to use both. I like them both. And yeah, so there you have it. I'm bringing it down, and I'm going to give you a close-up. So right there, I'm trying to show you that has a little bit more pill on the right side than it does on the left. And I'm going back to see if I can get those lines out with more water once it dried, but it doesn't. It's pilling the water up. But here I added more water, and it's not on the Lyra right there. Not as much anyway. It did pill some up, but there was an awful lot of water added to this, and there you have the difference. That's the Stampin' Up right there, and to the left is the Lyra. So here we have the Rubbernecker border stamp coming up. It is so pretty. I'm so glad that I purchased that. And I have my Lyra watercolors awaiting on the top there. I'm adding some Versamark to put it down because I'm going to use Hero Arts Gold Embossing Powder on this. This is going to be the start of my card, and I hope you join me on part 2 because I am making a fancy full card with a butterfly clasp. I think you're going to love it. It's going to have leaf edges and leaves all over to close it, and butterfly clasp. Join me back for part 2. Here's the Hero Arts Embossing Powder. And you know what I didn't do on here, don't you? I did not use my powder. So I am going to put it over. Yeah, a little bit of work I had to do getting some of the, yeah, I didn't even let you see it. I had to take a dry brush and take all of the little spots out, but that's okay. There it is. Yep, it had a few. And now I'm going to take my heat tool on here, and we are going to heat set it. It's such a beautiful outline. I just love it. You know, some things you're really glad that you purchased, and this is one of them. So I'm watching it. I just love to watch it do its thing when you add embossing powder to it and you heat it. It's so pretty. And this is a beautiful gold, this Hero Arts gold. It's ultra fine detailed gold. Now we're getting ready to stamp. I wanted to show you on this that you have a outline stamp with the inward stamp with your main stamp. Look at that beautiful maple leaf. Yeah, so each one has its own outline stamp, which I like, and we're going to gold emboss that outline stamp later. So here I grab one of the photopolymer stamps here. Yep, that one flew right out of my hand on the floor, and I'm not picking it up. Yeah. So I grabbed 3 different shades of green from dark to light, and that turquoise blue really went well on the outside edges on this. Now I want to explain something right here as I'm looking at it. When I got finished putting the Lyra pen crayons down, the aqua crayons, I grabbed my paintbrush, dipped it in the water there, and because you don't have full control on how much water you're placing right there, you don't know how much is going to land on that stamp, and it ended up too much. And I lost it in the stamping, and you'll see that. I'm just trying to take some of it off, so I dried my, yeah. So with it, most of the color went onto my paper towel over there, but I was able to remedy that. It wasn't a problem, but you'll see when you stamp down. So what I did later on is I realized if you dip those crayons directly into the water onto your stamp, oh, creaminess, you have full control of your color. But yeah, I'm adding some color with the crayon, and I thought maybe that would remedy it, but I didn't like it. Yeah. And plus it gave me a little bit of lines there, but I wanted to get different colors in there. It wasn't the fact that I had outlined it. It was the fact there wasn't enough colors in there for me. So darker colors. So here's that real turquoise blue around the edges, some light green as well, just to tone it down. And I haven't caught on to dipping it in the water, Soon as you see that water bowl move up to the top, you know that I thought, whoa, what's my camera doing here? Sorry. Yeah, it's trying to get into frame. There we go. It's back. And now I added the turquoise, and I'm going to stamp right over top. And look at, I added a little bit of water, but as soon as you add the water like this, you're picking up that color. So I'm thinking about that as I'm doing it. Okay, what can I do to keep that color on the stamp? There we go. So I'm stamping it down, and I like it because this gives you a wonderful watercolor look. But wait till you see what happens when you dip the crayon directly into the water onto the stamp. I haven't caught on yet. I'm still coloring that stamp. And this is for the second one, the second leaf that I'm going to put down. So you're just going to, oh yeah, there it is. There's the bowl. Oh yeah, direct to water. That's the key with these Lyra crayons. Direct water to your stamp. Okay, Carol, where are you going to put this? Right there. I was doing this very late last night. Yeah. And my friend Michelle W. over on Stamp Nation, I told her I would have this up today. So I'm doing the voiceover, and I have a bit of a sore throat today. Look at that. Ah, I love it. I love the different colors in that maple leaf. Oh yeah, this is coming together. I'm liking it. And I'm thinking, all right, get another leaf there. And I don't know what I was doing there that it took me so long to get back. Oh, I'm trying to get it into frame for you here. Yeah, get it up close. And my camera's just zooming in. Oh yeah. And what I really like later on in this, that we're going to add the outline stamp and do it in gold. So here's another one of the leaves in that W+9 set. I love it. Beautiful dies. The photopolymer is top notch. It's just wonderful. And the crayons work, look at that. Oh, it just makes it so creamy on there. Yeah, it works. It works. You're able to control it more if you do it, dipping it in the water as well, I find. I put it right there. Isn't that pretty? Ah, love the look of watercolor. So I'm just cleaning my crayon there, and I'm coming back in. There we go. I wanted yellow. I wanted to highlight some of the yellow in the leaves just to get a different look. And that's pretty dry, but once I get onto here, I think I dip it. Yep. Now the creaminess, look at that. Much better than dipping it in the water with your paintbrush onto the stamp. Dip your crayons in the water and then put them to stamp. Is that about the 15th time I've said that? But once I cut onto that, that's what I'll be doing all the time. Full control of your color like this. And I can't wait for you to see part 2. It really is a beautiful card. It turns out to be, the fancy full card turns out to be a nice card. There we go. I'm dipping it again. Yep. This is nice. Look at that beautiful creaminess in there. And I think it makes a difference if you have a really good photopolymer stamp too, don't you? Like it just sits up on top of there. Oh, it's so creamy. I stopped there just so you could see the creaminess of it when you're coloring it onto the stamp. Really pretty. And now I'm going to dip in another color of the green just to get a lot of the hues in these fall leaves. I can't wait till fall. Yeah, my camera, I don't know if it's the acrylic block. Something's just making it blur. Blur. Say that 5 times. Look at that. I'm going over the edges. Really pretty. Yeah. It was really nice. I was doing this late, like I said, and it was so relaxing. There, it came in. Look at that. And like I said, you have more control when the water's on there and you're not putting the water on after. I'll say it again because it was really, I was glad that I caught on to doing that. So then I'm going to take it down onto this corner. Come on, Carol, you can do it. Yep, there we go. And you do want to hold it on there so the water has time to seep into the paper, right? Oh, isn't that pretty? This is what makes this pretty. It's a really nice stamp set. So I grabbed my paintbrush and I'm just, there was some of the card stock showing through and I wanted to just add some more color to it. I'm going to show you close up. Isn't that pretty? Yeah, this is a really pretty stamp set as I'm looking at it. Has a little bit of something on there, but I cover it up. Now I'm going to heat set it because I'm going to flick some color on with my acrylic block. And I saw that over on Ellen Hudson with Julie Ebersol. And she was using, instead of just flicking it with the paintbrush, she puts it on an acrylic block right here like that and just flicks it off the side. And look how sweet that looks. So I did some turquoise, some green, and some yellow. I'm just adding the crayon to it there. Here's the green, just flicking that on. And then I'm going to clean my brush off in a second and go to the yellow. And I don't care if it goes over the edges because I'm going to cut around this for my card. And I can't wait till you see it. The finished product of this card turned out really nice. So there you have it on there, and I am going to take my Versamark and I grabbed my acrylic block there. I'm just showing you the outline of the stamps here. I'm going to stamp, look at that maple leaf. I'm going to stamp those, I'm shaking it just so that the camera clears it up. I'm going to add that around the edges, but right now I put some Versamark refill liquid on my block right there, and I'm using my marker, my Versamark marker, and I'm dipping it in so that it's thick. I wanted to have it rather thick around the smaller leaves and then thin on the bigger leaves, the outline. So I just squirt out a little bit of the Versamark refill, and it worked well. So now I am just going to grab it here and, oh, I've already stamped. Yeah, I'm already going to add the gold embossing powder. I'm just looking at it here. Voiceovers are really funny because you're watching it as you are and actually doing the voiceover. Yeah, and guess what I didn't use here? The powder. Make sure you use your powder tool before you add your Versamark. It just a lot of, it saves you from having to clean it up every time. But I didn't, so I don't mind. I'm just going and using my paintbrush and taking off the extra. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? And oh yeah, I already did stamped the outline of the leaves and put the gold on there. It just turned out to be really pretty to me. So there you have it, like that. And that's actually upside down. I don't do the, no it isn't. I use that space on the left. I'm sorry, because I see that little dot there. I don't know what that is. I really like this Fabriano cardstock as well. So I am using this Rejoice with the Sweet and Sassy stamps. I love their King James Bible verses that they have. I order from them. Beautiful stamps as well. Lovely photopolymer stamps. So I'm going to take my Versamark and I'm going to put that right in the left-hand corner there. It's nice that, that's the nice thing about photopolymer stamps, isn't it? That you can see through them. So you pretty well get an even stamp. Now, I grabbed the ultra fine black embossing powder here for Rejoice. And it is the, I think it said Zig on there. and I didn't like it flat black like that. See, there's a lot of speckles from me sprinkling out the paint, but it did come out nicely with the black. But I wanted it, I grabbed my vintage amethyst there. What a beautiful sparkle. And it is, I think it's made by Wow, actually. I missed that. But look at all of those sparkles, and they all stick. You know, you don't end up with just the color. The sparkles actually, watch when you heat emboss it, how pretty that there. I'm just showing you all of the sparkles in there. And that's called vintage amethyst, if you're looking for that. Now watch, see how when you, oh, it's so pretty. When you turn that card a certain way, it just glitters. I love it. And with the black background, it turned out pretty nice, I think. Yeah, so it's coming together. I know this video is long, but I wanted to show you. Oh, I'm thinking, do I need 2 birds? No. This bird set is from My Favorite Things. I took it out of a little set that I had, and I'm thinking I'm going to do it gold, that little bird that I set up on the leaf, but I ended up doing him black so you could see him. I thought the gold just wouldn't. He's so tiny. And that's what's nice about having extra stamp sets. You get to use this and that. And I need a little bird, just a small one right there. And My Favorite Things had it in one of their sets, so I stamped him up there in the corner. And now that's with the plain black, because I don't think you're going to notice that one. And then I added my Winkostella. Yep, get it all embossed there, Carol. Took the Winkostella on him, and then I decided to add some veins in just a couple of the leaves with the Winkostella. Nope, the top one, yep. Just a few little veins, and it came out really nice. Just those 2. And then I'm going to cut this down. I'm going to show it to you first close up. Yeah, it's so pretty. Yeah, and then I leave it down in the corner. So, oh, I'm ripping it off. That I keep my pages on the full pack of paper because it doesn't warp. You don't have to use any tape to hold it down. It's already secure in the pad that it comes in. So now I'm taking my little Fiskars cutter and going around the edges, looking at it. Do I need to take a little bit more off? This little guillotine cutter didn't cost very much at Michael's with your coupon, and it fits on your desk so nicely, and it's very sharp. So I really like this one for doing videos. I have my huge Fiskars cutter behind me, the one that you never have to, it's self-sharpening. It's that great big one. I really like that too. So there it is, and I'm going to grab some dots and put it on, 3 of them. 1 in the olive green, and 1 in the turquoise up there, and a teensy weensy yellow one is going to go in the left corner there. Right there. And you always want to do them in 3s, odd numbers, right? Not in 3s, but odd numbers. So that, there it is, Y&S gumdrops. I got that at Buffalo Stampin' Stuff, and the Recollections here I got at Michael's. Now I want to make a little bird's nest on that flower right there to make it look like this little bird jumped out of the nest and jumped up onto that leaf. Isn't it funny how we think when we make cards? All of a sudden I thought he needs a little nest. So I'm folding it up in my hands, and I did a 2-finger nest, and it was too big. I laid it down there. Oh, that's way too big. So I'm looking at it, and I'm thinking, no, it can't go there, Carol. You have to move it over on top of that other leaf. So I wind it around my 1 finger. Nope. And I take my, I don't know what I'm thinking, putting it down there to cover Rejoice. So I take it on my one finger, make it nice and small. I take my Ranger glue right there, multi-medium glue, because it dries clear. And I put my little gold twine on there. Takes a little bit at first because it keeps wanting to stick to your fingers, but I end up getting it down there, and I grab my heat gun right after I get it exactly where I want it. I had a little bit more glue there, I think. Yeah, just to hold it down right there. Yeah, and get it the way you want it. I want it to look like a bird's nest, and I don't want it to be even. And then I dry it immediately. That way I can tell whether it's going to fall off or not. So there you have it. It's nice and secure. I snipped the ends off, and I will see you on part 2 on this card. I think you're going to really like the fancy fold card. I put some double-sided foam on the back because it is watercolor paper, and I want it to not buckle on the sheet there. And I look forward to seeing you on part 2. Thank you so much. Have a blessed evening, and I appreciate everybody that joins me on my videos. Take care.